Eastern Washington versus Western Washington, we have a bit of difference in politics. We have a different mindset on what goes on over there to what goes on over here. Most of us think the West Side is insane. Granted, it is entertaining. Very true, very true. You know, we watch it on the news, and every time something comes up, a great one is I-594. Horrible piece of legislation that got pushed through. No one really knew what it was. Nobody really cared what it was. All they heard was guns and safety. And they instantly thought, oh, this will make us safer. No. When I found out that it actually had passed, I was infuriated. The government does not have the right to tell me that I can't sell my firearm to John, to Steve, to any one of you. They don't have that right to interfere in a personal, private business transaction. So, December that year, December 20th, 2014, I gathered with 300 Eastern Washingtonians and some Western Washingtonians, and we spoke out. We stood up and said, no, we are not dealing with this. Not in our state, not in our county, and not in our city. The funny part was I had a heckler that day. And he heckled me, and he said that we were all going to hell, essentially. Because the day that we chose to do this, or the day that I chose to do this, was supposedly Sandy Hook Day. It wasn't. I let the man have his say. The police arrested him and took him off the premises. But we had 300 strong saying no, that we will not deal with this, and this is unenforceable law. After that, life went on. I held another rally and another rally after that. Still trying to get our message out that this is unconstitutional, that we as individuals are standing up collectively. That is Eastern Washington politics. In Eastern Washington, we have farms. We have ranchers. We've got a wolf problem that no one seems to care about. But the big thing that we have in Eastern Washington is we have politicians who align themselves with the West Side and say, oh, hey, there's Eastern Washington. That's great. I'm just going to go back there to, caucus, get elected, and I'm going to go back to Olympia. Not unlike what happens, I'm going to go back to my state, caucus, get elected, I'm going to go back to Washington. It's got to stop. Right. Recently, after working many years for other folk, I decided to strike out on my own. I became a small business owner as of last month. Right now, it's just me, because that's all I can afford. Every dollar that I make in my business goes back into my business. Why? Because, quite frankly, I can't afford it. I have to work 2 jobs just to make my business survive, because that's what you do in this state. You work 2 or 3 jobs while you're working your business until you get it to a point where it kind of supports itself. I would love to hire an estimator. I would love to hire a project manager, but I can't. I don't see that happening in the next 5 years because of taxes, regulation, and people feeling that I'm offended. And by the way, I love this free speech zone. This is a great place. Yes, we're going to have a free speech zone separately from everything else. Wait, I thought the United States was an entire free speech zone. So I kept looking at what I wanted my business to be. I kept looking at where I wanted to take my little venture. Of course I do construction. I've been doing it for years. I've swung a hammer, I've installed, I've done lots of different things in construction. So as part of my business model, I want to do real estate. I want to sell, buy real estate. I want to build new homes. I want to repair old ones. I wanted to be a home inspector. Figure that is a perfect trifecta under the blanket or under the umbrella of being a consultant in a construction management firm. Great idea, right? Covers everything. No, can't do that. In this state, to become a home inspector costs you more money than it does to be a building inspector. Strange concept, right? You figure two private industries shouldn't be that big a deal. No. To be a building inspector costs you $300. $150 for the license or the certification, and $150 for the test. To be a building inspector in this state costs you anywhere between $4,000 and $8,000. Regulated by the state. Not an individual company, not an individual entity. By the state. $3,500 of that, and that's the minimum, that's the low end. $3,500 of that alone is education that you have to go to. On this side of the state, it's pretty easy. There's a dozen of them on this side of the state. Eastern Washington, there's 3. One in Ellensburg, one in, I believe it was the Tri-Cities. I think the other one was somewhere up in Twisp. Nowhere near Spokane. By the way, Spokane, believe it or not, is the second largest city in this state by population. Bizarre, isn't it? If you're, oh, hey, little Spokane. There's like, what, 20 people out in the desert? You know, they all ride banthas, all wave sticks, and go, whoo, whoo, whoo. Sorry. And believe it or not, every time I tell people I'm from Eastern Washington. You live out in the desert, right? It's like dry there. You got like Wookiees and such. No. This is not Star Wars, people. No. This is part of what frustrates me. This is part of what has led me here. 2 years ago was something completely different. 2 years later, now we have a better goal. Now we have a better focus. Now we have better words. Or as Rory likes to say, we have the best words. They are great. We're at a point in our lives where we can actually do something. We're at a point in our lives where, oh yeah, by the way, Stafford, man, I'd take a bullet for you, brother. I would, man. I love you, right here. All of you are my brothers and sisters. We are all fighters for liberty. You are all my family. I protect my family. I want to see each and every one of you achieve all of your goals with as little infringement as possible. I want Randy to start his own business. I really do. I want you to be this really, total badass computer guy. This network engineer, man. Doc, I'm telling you, man, I want you to open your own neuro clinic. Paul, let's face it, man, I want you to be the lieutenant governor. When we boil it down to it, we have a choice. We're making it right here, right now. I'm running for office. You're running for office. Support your local candidates. Support Gary Johnson. I love Gary Johnson. I've met him. He's a great guy. Steve, I have not had a chance to meet you yet, sir. I'm hoping to do so in the next couple of minutes. I thank you for running for president. I do. With that being said, my fellow libertarians, it is a great day in our state, and I will see you in November.